You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Now we answer questions we've received from you. If you have a question yourself, do visit our website, www.quranspeaks.com. Submit your questions there, and hopefully we'll get to it soon. Okay, Brother Shabir, here is the first question. Can you explain the Quranic verse from chapter 3, verse 36? The male is not like the female. What does it refer to? What is it about?
Well, I have to give some background here and
context.
see. Yes, the surrounding passages, or just before this one, there's a passage which says that God chose the family of Imran, and it turns out, as we will see, that Imran is the grandfather of Jesus and hence the father of Mary. Well, when Mary's mother, according to the verse now in question, was pregnant with Mary, she made a pledge to God, I'm dedicating this child to you. And the Muslim commentators on the Quran say that this means that she intended that this child will serve in the temple. And that would have meant too that she expected that she would have a boy child, or she's at least hoping that if she dedicates the child to God, this is what will be the result. Now she gives birth and she says, Inni wada'tuha untha. She's speaking to God and saying, God, now I've given birth to a female. And then the response or from God says in this passage, Wallahu a'lamu bima wada'at. And God knows what she has given birth to, as if this is a comment to her speech.
That God intended for her to give birth to a girl anyway.
Well, God knows what she has given birth to. Of course, God knows things in advance. But now the situation is that she's given birth and she's saying, my Lord, I've given birth to a female.
Yes.
And she hasn't finished her speech yet. It'll continue, where she will say, and I seek refuge in you on her behalf, so that I seek your protection for her from Satan the outcast. But now God inserts a comment here saying, and God knows what she has given birth to. And then the next statement says, and the male is not like the female. So
so it's still puzzling. What does that verse refer to? And what does it
yes,
mean?
and that was the question. So now, to know what this verse refers to, we also need to know who spoke it. Is it the mother of Mary herself who said that, or is it God who is adding this as the side comment? The Muslim commentators on the Quran said that this may mean that since girls did not serve in the temple at that time, the puzzle for Mary's mother was, what's going to happen now? I've given birth to a female and I'm supposed to have a boy to serve in the temple. So this is what they said is the meaning. But it seems to me that that's not necessarily the meaning, because if God is adding this as the comment, then the comment from God is, God knows what she has given birth to, since a male and female do not look alike. And it's very clear, as everybody can see. She's given birth to a female. Why does she have to tell God now that she's given birth to a female? That is clear enough. And that is not a problem, because God, of course, knows what can happen, and God is allowing her to have a female child. And God has something better in store for this child than maybe some other child that she might have given birth to. And this is going to be a special person. So the following verse says, فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ. God has chosen her with a very good acceptance, accepted her with a very good acceptance. So there's no fault and nothing wrong over the fact that she has just given birth to a female.
And it seems like Mary was in the service of God anyway.
Yes, of course, she performed one of the great services in that she gave birth to Jesus, who would be God's Messiah and messenger to the people. And what an honor it is for her, as the Gospels put it. A lady said to Jesus, "Blessed be the womb that bore you."
But not just that, she was worshiping God on her own, in seclusion.
Exactly. The Quran shows that she was a devout woman. She worshipped in seclusion, and the angels greeted her with a special greeting, saying to her that God has chosen her above all women.
So are there any broader implications to this verse which says the male is not like the female? Like, does it mean anything in terms of gender relations, in terms of how we understand males and females in society?
I don't think we should read any such gender implication into it, like to say, well, this means that men are different from women or men are better than women. Although you will find this mentioned in some of the classical commentaries, because that's how the commentators thought. That was the social situation in which they lived and the cultural conditioning to which they and all of us are subjected. So in their situation, they thought that this meant that the men are better than women, but we shouldn't, I mean, there's nothing inherent in the verse itself that gives that meaning, and we shouldn't read that meaning into it.
Lastly, can you comment on the prominence of Mary in the Quran?
Yes, she is mentioned more than once. In fact, we were looking here at Surah 3, and Surah 66, called At-Tahrim, mentions her as a good example of a pious, righteous person who should be emulated. Not for the fact that she was a virgin, of course, because that's difficult to copy, but the fact that she was a pure person, lived a good and wholesome, righteous life.
All right, thank you for that.
You're
Brother
welcome.
Sabir. That's all the time we have. Visit our website, www.quranspeaks.com, and check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/QuranSpeaks. As always, please continue to write to us. Your comments and questions help guide the show. I'm Safiya Ali. For all of us here at Let the Quran Speak, thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah